I tested my girlfriend's loyalty with a fake Instagram account. What happened next destroyed her life. I've always known I wasn't the most attractive guy in the room. Growing up, I was the kid with the thick glasses, the awkward smile, and the kind of personality that made me more of a friend than a crush. But life has a funny way of balancing things out. By the time I hit my late 20s, I had built a fortune that most people only dream of. I won't go into specifics, but let's just say I could buy a small island if I wanted to. With that wealth came a certain level of confidence, but deep down I was still that insecure kid who wondered if anyone could ever love me for me and not for what I could provide. Enter her. She was beautiful, charming, and seemed so genuine. We met at a charity event and she didn't even know who I was at first. That's what made me fall for her. She wasn't impressed by my money, or so I thought. We dated for 3 years and I truly believed she loved me. I trusted her completely. Little did I know that trust was about to be shattered in the most brutal way possible. It started with small things. She'd be on her phone more often, giggling at texts she wouldn't show me. She'd disappear for hours, claiming she was running errands or meeting a friend. At first, I brushed it off. I didn't want to be that guy, the jealous, controlling boyfriend. But the nagging feeling in my gut wouldn't go away. That's when I confided in my best friend. Let's call him Jay. Jay had been my ride or die since college, and he knew me better than anyone. I told him about my suspicions, and he suggested something I never would have thought of on my own. Let me test her loyalty. At first, I was horrified. The idea of setting a trap for someone I loved felt wrong, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized I needed to know the truth. So, with a heavy heart, I gave him the green light. Jay created a fake Instagram account complete with a carefully curated persona, a wealthy, attractive guy who could easily sweep any woman off her feet. It didn't take long for her to take the bait. Within days, Jay was sending me screenshots of their conversations. At first, it was innocent, just friendly banter, but it quickly escalated. She was flirting with him, sending him selfies, and even making plans to meet up. I felt sick to my stomach. This was the woman I had envisioned spending my life with, the woman I had trusted with everything. And here she was, falling for a complete stranger who offered her nothing but empty promises. Jay asked her out on a date, and she agreed without hesitation. That's when I knew I had to confront her, but not in the way she expected. I decided to pull the ultimate revenge. I would show up to that date, expose her for who she really was, and take back everything I had given her. It wasn't just about the money or the material things. It was about making her feel the same betrayal I had felt. The night of the date, I dressed in my best suit and arrived at the restaurant early. I sat at the bar, nursing a drink and trying to keep my emotions in check. When she walked in, she looked stunning, wearing a dress I had bought her with jewelry I had gifted her on our last anniversary. She didn't see me at first. She was too busy scanning the room for Jay, who, of course, wasn't going to show up. When she finally spotted me, her face went pale. I stood up, walked over to her, and calmly said, "Looking for someone?" She stammered, trying to come up with an excuse, but I cut her off. "Save it. I know everything." I told her to sit down, and I laid it all out. I showed her the screenshots, the messages, the proof of her betrayal. She tried to cry, to apologize, to beg for forgiveness, but I was done. I told her to hand over everything I had ever given her. The jewelry, the designer clothes, the credit cards. She was humiliated, but I didn't care. This was just the beginning. After the restaurant, I drove her back to our apartment. Well, my apartment. I had already changed the locks earlier that day. I handed her a suitcase and told her to pack her things. She tried to argue, to plead, but I wasn't having it. I stood there watching as she packed up the life I had given her. When she was done, I handed her a check for $10,000, enough to get her started somewhere else, but nowhere near the lifestyle she had grown accustomed to. As she walked out the door, I felt a strange mix of emotions: anger, sadness, but also a sense of relief. I had finally seen her for who she really was, but my revenge wasn't over, not even close. The next morning, I woke up with a fire in my chest. I wasn't just going to let her walk away unscathed. I wanted everyone to know what she had done. I started by going through her phone, which she had conveniently left behind in her haste to leave. What I found was worse than I could have imagined. She had been talking to multiple guys, all of them wealthy, all of them potential backup plans. I took screenshots of everything, every text, every DM, every incriminating detail. Then I created a group chat with all of them. I sent them the evidence along with a message. "This is who she really is. Consider this a warning." The responses were immediate. Some of them were shocked, others angry, but all of them thanked me for exposing her. It felt good, but I wasn't done yet. I decided to take things a step further. I created a fake social media account and started posting the screenshots publicly. I didn't use her name, but I made sure the details were clear enough for anyone who knew her to figure it out. The posts went viral within hours. People were sharing them, commenting on them, and tagging her in them. She tried to defend herself, but the evidence was undeniable. Her reputation was ruined. She lost friends, followers, and any chance of maintaining the lifestyle she had worked so hard to manipulate her way into. It was harsh, but I didn't care. She had played with my heart, and now she was paying the price. As the days went by, I started to hear rumors about her. She had moved back in with her parents, she was struggling to find a job, and she had become a pariah in our social circle. Part of me felt guilty. After all, I had once loved her. But the other part of me knew she had brought this on herself. I had given her everything, and she had thrown it all away for a cheap thrill. I decided to focus on myself, to rebuild my life without her. I started traveling, investing in new projects, and reconnecting with old friends. But no matter how much I tried to move on, I couldn't shake the feeling that I had lost a part of myself in the process. Just when I thought the saga was over, I got a call from Jay. He told me that she had reached out to him, begging for another chance. She claimed that she had made a mistake, that she had been manipulated by the fake Instagram account, and that she still loved me. I laughed at first, but then I felt a pang of anger. How dare she try to play the victim after everything she had done? I told Jay to block her number and to never speak to her again. But the call left me unsettled. I couldn't believe she had the audacity to reach out after everything that had happened. Over time, the anger faded, and I started to heal. I realized that I had let her betrayal consume me, and I didn't want to live like that anymore. I decided to focus on the positive aspects of my life, my career, my friends, and my passions. I even started dating again, though I was much more cautious this time around. I learned that not everyone is out to get you, but I also learned the importance of trusting your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Months later, I ran into her at a coffee shop. She looked different, tired, worn down, and nothing like the woman I had once loved. We made eye contact, and for a moment I thought about walking over and saying something. But then I remembered everything she had put me through, and I turned away. She didn't deserve my time, my energy, or my forgiveness. I walked out of that coffee shop with my head held high, knowing that I had come out on top. She had tried to break me, but in the end, I was the one who had won. Looking back, I realized that this whole experience taught me a valuable lesson. Money can buy a lot of things, but it can't buy loyalty, love, or respect. I had spent so much time trying to prove my worth through material things that I had forgotten what really mattered. I'm still not the most attractive guy in the room, and that's okay. I've learned to love myself for who I am, not for what I have. And if someone can't see my value beyond my bank account, then they don't deserve a place in my life. As for her, I hope she learned her lesson too. But honestly, I don't really care anymore. I've moved on, and I'm better for it.